Not all Hunger Games characters made it to the screen intact. Some were nearly perfect adaptations, others were total movie mutts, and a few were completely left out, forever trapped in book movie lore limbo. So today I'm ranking 25 major characters on how accurately they were adapted from book to movie and whether those changes helped or hurt the story. To be clear, I understand that these movies are adaptations of the books. They are two completely different storytelling mediums, so changes are going to be made. And yes, I know Suzanne was part of the screenwriting team for these movies. Let's start this ranking. These are just 25 characters. There's so many, but thought I'd start here. On the x-axis is the similarity scale, so that is showing how alike a book character is to its movie version. Towards the right is more alike, to the left is less alike. And then we have our y-axis of how good or bad changes made to the characters were in terms of telling the story. Also, if a character got cut out of the movie a lot, I'm going to make them look a little more transparent. We're having fun. This is all subjective, so please share your rankings in the comments too. Let's start with our man Haymitch. Overall, he's very similar. I think he's made a little bit nicer. You like him a little more. I'm putting him here. I like the changes made to him, so Haymitch is a solid placement here. Joanna. She's a lot like her character, though I feel like they take out a little bit of her dimension. She's more than just an angry person in the books, so she's gonna be a little lower here. She's going a little transparent because they cut out some big Mockingjay moments. She looks very ghostly. We're going boy-girl here in style of the Reaping, I guess. Seneca Crane. So he's an interesting one because he's not really in the books much. He's not mentioned in the first Hunger Games book at all, at least not by name. In Catching Fire, he's very quickly referred to in the conversation between Snow and Katniss at the beginning of the book. So he's given a much bigger role in the movies, and I really like it. His conversations with Snow, I felt like really added a lot of context that you needed as a movie watcher. So while he's not very similar because we don't know anything about him except that he was a game maker and he was executed for his let two victors win thing, he's gonna go here. Great changes. Lucy Gray. She's also a tough one because we're kind of getting her through Snow's lens. So his perception of her is definitely distorted. And then we see her in the movie and I'd say she's pretty close, but she is a little less, I don't know, like charismatic and sweet. I feel like she's a little more cunning in the books. I'm mostly neutral on the changes, though I don't love it. So she's going here. Gale. Honestly, Gale is pretty close. I think he's made to look a little bit better in the movies. A little, but he's pretty much the same. That's where you are, Gale. Effie Trinket. She kind of absorbed other members of the prep team more, like dialogue they had. Katniss's prep team, they do her makeup. They're still in the movie, but they're not in it as much, and they're not in Mockingjay at all. Instead, they're entirely replaced by Effie. Effie is not in District 13 in the book in Mockingjay. You don't see her till the very end after they've won the war. But I really love her changes. She's a lot funnier. She's sweeter in the movies. She lit up the screen. I'm putting her here. I think the changes to her characters are the best in the whole franchise. Adds a lot to the movie experience. Cinna. I'd say he's pretty much exactly the same. His airtime is reduced a little bit. He just has more time with Katniss and is a really sweet friend to her. But what we see of him in the movie is spot on. Young Tigress, so Ballad Tigress. Overall, she's similar. They do give her a bit more to do, and her emotions at the end, her judgment of how Coriolanus has changed, that's added in the movie, and it's just so good. Let's put her here. Her portrayal by Hunter Schafer is absolutely amazing. It makes you just love Tigress. Beatty, by the way, his last name, Latier, that is only in the movie universe. In the book, we don't know his last name. I'm putting him up here with Cinna. He's spot on. Wyrus, I feel like she was made a little bit weirder in the movie. Not by much. She's still very close, but put her about here. Caesar Flickerman. He really is the same larger than life character. He's going with this cluster over here. Prim. Honestly, she's not in the books that much. It's just mostly, Katniss thinking of her, talking about how sweet she is and gentle. I think we see Prim be a bit stronger on screen in Catching Fire and in Mockingjay. It's also her idea in the book to try reverse hijacking Peeta. She's going here. Cato. We get to see a bit more of him in the movie, and he's given such an amazing kind of final speech at the end we don't get in the book, but it illustrates the career mindset so well and just made your heart break for him in such a huge way in the movie. Overall, very similar, but given a boost. It's a pile up. Rue, very accurate portrayal, but we're given less time with her. We learn more about her life in the book. Let's turn down her opacity a bit. Adult President Snow. Let's do him first before Choreo. We get to see a lot more of him in the movie because we're seeing outside of Katniss's perspective. Katniss has very few face-to-face interactions with him in the book, but he is brought to life on screen. Overall, he is very similar, but he is given a boost because we get more time with him. He's going on top of our pile because Snow lands on top. But for ballad choreo, the movie did a very interesting job with him. I think in the movie, he's a lot more sympathetic. You don't have his internal monologue, and in the book, he's pretty awful. The whole book, he just gets worse. But in the movie, he seems more normal and then descends. You experience his character so differently, just seeing kind of what other people saw him as, like how he presented himself. And he was very good at making himself seem charming and put together and nice. I think his character is changed a lot. In the movie, it seems like he really did care about Lucy Gray. In the book, he just like sees her as an object to be won. But I do really like the movie and how he's portrayed in it. So he's tricky. I'm putting him kind of towards the upper middle. Let me know what you think about his movie portrayal because it is very different, but I also don't hate it. We all know I love the Hunger Games universe, but I never want to feel like a tribute foraging for my dinner. No thank you. Luckily, Every Plate is basically the opposite of the arena. No stress, no mystery ingredients, and definitely no night lock. Every Plate sends pre-planned recipes and perfectly portioned ingredients straight to your door. It's all packed up, easy to follow, and way more affordable than grocery shopping in the capital. And these meals are total crowd pleasers. The sesame, mushroom, and zucchini lo mein was to die for. I've been using Every Plate when I want a quick, delicious dinner that doesn't cost a fortune or feel like an overwhelming challenge. And you should use it too. I definitely get stuck in cooking ruts from time to time, just making the same boring meals, and this has been so helpful. You could say it's been a total hunger game changer for me in terms of getting more variety in my meals. So, for $1.99 a meal on your first box, plus free Heat and Eat meals for a month, use code BREAD199 at everyplate.com or hit the link in my description. That's one free item per box for 4 weeks with an active subscription. You won't have to put up a fight to get dinner on the table. Thank you, Every Plate, for sponsoring this video. Mags, very close, but big change. She can't talk at all in the movies. In the book, she can talk. She has garbled speech, but she does speak. But overall, very much the same. I wish we got to hear her speak. Let's put her about here. Finnick, I'd say, is also close, but we get less time with him. He and Katniss have a really fun friendship. He's going here. Overall, looking pretty positive in terms of the similarity scale. Dr. Gaul. She is changed. She's more of a feeble but very creepy and evil woman in the book, and she's a much more commanding presence in the movie. Unhinged in both, but you can really feel her power in the movie in a way I didn't quite feel in the book. So still very similar. The changes were positive. Plutarch. He says a lot more arrogant things in the book. He's more serious and down to earth in the movie. In the book at the end, when Katniss is going back to District 12 and she's a shell of a person, he says the most wild thing. He's asking her, "Oh, I'm putting together a new singing show. You should definitely come on, please." Just totally tone deaf. He has a lot of moments like that in the book where he seems very out of touch in a capital way. And I know his role had to be changed around because of the passing of Philip Seymour Hoffman. This is nothing against Philip, but regardless, I feel like he is changed and I don't love the changes so much. He's going here. Mrs. Everdeen. She is spot on, but we do get less of her. She's going in the cluster here and made a bit more transparent. I wish we got more about Katniss and hers dynamic in the movie. Their relationship is really complicated and interesting. Sejanus Plinth. So he's in a similar boat to Lucy Gray because we don't quite get an accurate picture of him because of how Snow talks about him. He seems a little bit more foolish, more naive, and you have to fight Snow's judgments to see that he is a nice person. Snow's just so rude to him in his head. But I'd say he still is close. I think he's more alike to himself than Lucy Gray. He seems pretty true to character. So he's going over here. President Alma Coin. She's very accurately portrayed, though I feel like in the movie they give her a bit more a humanizing moment. There's a lot more clues in the book early on that she is ruthless and we definitely should not trust her. But she still has that iciness to her across both mediums. Not really much change. She's going in the cluster. You can see overall, I think they did a pretty decent job. But here's where it gets trickier. Katniss and Peeta. Katniss and Peeta. Because we get so much time with them in the book, and we're specifically in Katniss's head, there are a lot of moments in the movies where I see her and I go, that is not book Katniss. vibes. It's almost like a 60-40, 65-35 split for me in how accurate she is. She's a really complex character, and I feel like we miss a lot of it because we don't have that internal monologue. She is simplified in the movie in a way that bothers me. Like, she's kind of flattened. She's made into a bit of a girl boss at times. I think also because she looks so much older, you forget that she's a teenage girl. Anything they changed about her, I really do not like. In terms of similarity, I'm putting her still above 50%, but any of the changes that were made, I think are bad. I feel like they diminished her as a character and really altered the story. This might be a really unpopular opinion. We'll see. I wish we had some of her internal monologue. That's where I'm putting Katniss. And then Peeta. I love Peeta. We know this. That is my son. And he has done a huge disservice in the films. First of all, his part is reduced. He's getting transparent mode because so much of him is cut. He is smart and funny and charismatic and does so much, and he becomes kind of a sidekick in the movie. He's kind of just in Katniss's shadow. You don't understand like how amazing this guy is and how important he is to the rebellion. Overall, his and Katniss relationship is really shafted in the movies, and it's really important. Yes, this is a book about a dystopia and a rebellion, but this isn't just like a little love story subplot. It's like about connection and trust and building community. Pretty much all of his best lines and moments are cut. So obviously I think any changes are very bad. God, it's hard. There are times where he's exactly like book Peeta, but most of the time he is not. And if you've never read the Hunger Games books and you like the movies, and especially if you never really understood the Katniss and Peeta thing, or you think Peeta is a lame character, please read the books and let me know what you think, because you really do not know who Peeta is if you've only seen the movies. He's less than 50-50. He's more here. That is my final answer. I'm surprised by this positively grouped cluster, but with so many of these main characters, that's where the issue really is. But I do understand it's easier to adapt a side character and make them feel the same because they're not central to the story. We know the main characters so well, so it's a lot easier to spot the differences. I would love to know your thoughts about the character adaptations, what changes you think were good or bad, so please share them in the comments. I'd love to know. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world. By the way, I recently launched a Patreon. You can find the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more Hunger Games analyses and do the thumbs up thing.